Good morning and welcome to the market forecast. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Another end of another fascinating week in the markets. April the 30th, last trading day of the month. My name's John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. As always, I hope you've had a good week. We're going to try and finish that week off strong. Remember, accurate context, risk management, and patience are always very important. And remember to be tolerant of yourself. It's very easy to get down on ourselves when things aren't going well with our strategy. Stick to your strategy. Be good to yourself, and maybe good things will happen in your trading. As always, checking in on the eco numbers that came out this morning already. We have personal income and outlays, as well as employment cost index. All of them came out slightly higher than anticipated. We also have at 8:45 the Chicago PMI, maybe a little peek into some inflation numbers. And 9 o'clock this morning, the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment is due out. So, just kind of thinking about what's going on, U.S. stock futures poised to open lower as potential profit taking starts to set in after another strong month. A lot of folks talking about the fact that markets are opening lower, potentially bringing some profit taking, and seems about time to do that. We've been talking about that possibility near the end of the week for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to take a look at the charts and see what might help us get into something if indeed that does happen. Earnings and economic numbers like GDP overwhelmingly positive. Whispers of inflation starting to creep in. Of course, everybody is keeping their eye on that. Eurozone kind of falls back into recession in quarter one. It wasn't necessarily unexpected, but now we know for sure. Energy stocks top the list of earnings this morning. As we kind of end the busiest week in earnings, Exxon beat expectations on both earnings and revenue. Chevron mixed numbers there. Another notable this morning, AstraZeneca, of course, beating expectations on both earnings and revenue. Did not necessarily remember to look at the VIX yet this morning, but looking at it right now, up slightly, 1841 with the stocks down. VIX is always going to be up. It's up about 4%. The dollar index still hanging around that 91, a little bit higher this morning at 90.89. And the 10-year yield still right around that 1.64 number. So kind of steadying as far as rates are concerned. And as always, make sure that you like, share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling are always welcome. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get notifications when we do go live. And I got to say a good morning to all my friends and family and futures and Forex traders here this morning. Good morning, Richie B. First one in the room, you win the prize. Theo, Eduardo, Lamus, my brother Rick, good to see you. Bill, good morning. Caesar. Vince, Brian, Ravenwise, good to see you back, Raven. Level 2, good morning, people of Earth. JD, good to see you. Good to see you later, too. Shady Trader, good morning. Trading Research, Tim, level 2, got a good month. Going to close out early. Why not? Take that money and have a good weekend, right? Good morning, Rob. Vici, James, good to see you. Vince, good morning, Hogue. Finally caught some fish in the ES yesterday. All right, that's good to hear. I was going to try and buy the settlement to catch the second move back up, but got scared. It seemed it wanted to keep dropping. Well, you got some fish. That's the point. Get some fish today. Got smoked in crude again today. Yeah, crude's off a little bit today. We're going to see that in the charts here shortly, and kind of watching what it's doing right now. Level 2, John Doherty, the bear danced last night. Did you go dancing? Jason, I have a feeling JD might be doing some dancing tonight. Jason Pipels, good to see you. Troy, good to see you. The chef is in the house. Mr. Magallanes, good to see you. Level 2, let it run hot so my tongues can play out. My longs can play out. There you go. Got it. Well, we're going to have to see. I wish I could make that happen for all of us. ES was a moneymaker, Ravenwise. Excellent, excellent. 8-ball ENT, good morning, Greg, to you as well. All right. I think we've exhausted everything I have before the charts. Why don't we go ahead and jump in? And let me get them up here for you. Watching the open here in crude oil, we've kind of reopened back below the 64 even weekly kickoff low. I'm going to start here, go back to the daily chart. And here we go. So yesterday, it looks like longs got a little bit roped in above that 64 resistance level. 65.5 is a previous weekly kickoff level. It's on the 30-minute chart. We're going to see that here. We had a pretty decent open interest increase. We added approximately 12,500 new contracts to crude oil yesterday on an up day. So, and pretty decent volume too. So this would kind of say, yeah, you know what? It might be interesting to look into longs here, and I think we've roped a few of them in, and they're currently getting hurt a little bit here. This trend line right here, I was looking at as a kind of a pivotal level for us this morning. It looks a little bit different on the 30-minute chart. And, you know, just by looking at this, a relatively significant pullback does not necessarily change market state. We've gone from coiling to kind of moving higher over time. I'm looking for a real market state break all the way down here. So that could feasibly bring us down to, let's just eyeball this, 61.80 to 62 even, if we do end up continuing this move to the downside. Now, we've got some considerable overnight shorts where we opened with a gap. Take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Sorry about that, LT. All right, settlement all the way up here, 65.01. Look at how short the overnight inventory is. Okay, I was looking at the kind of 65, 60 level here for this trend line. Now we've gone down below it. We've hit this trend line almost right on it. We've got a gap to the downside. We've got considerable overnight shorts. We think we got maybe some trapped longs up here. So it's going to be kind of a day that we may be looking at our best trade location for the session early in the session. I'm going to be watching to see what happens down here. We're seeing some indication already of downside momentum falling off, and the fact that price is now holding above these two moving averages. It's a 9-session and a 13-session whole moving average, and when that starts to hold above, then sometimes we'll see a reversal. And we do have a lot of, remember, short time frame shorts. These overnight sellers are holding those short positions, and they're not planning on taking those home over the weekend, even overnight. They're going to be flat by the end of the day. So if we continue to see sellers coming into this market, they'll continue to get paid and they'll stick with it. If they don't, we may see a pull back towards at least 64 even, maybe even a gap close to even out that overnight short time frame inventory. So you're watching our current low, 63.20. It's right up against this trend line right here for acceptance below it or rejection below it. If we reject below it, that might be enough to have our overnight inventory start to unravel or reconcile those positions. There's so many things to focus on in this market. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to really try and stay patient. I mean, we've got a gap down here that we've yet to fill. We've got naked point of control here. It looks like it's a pretty prominent one. So all of these things are kind of visuals that we can look at. I'm going to try and make sure and try and get the best trade location first. And then I'll look for structure in the daytime frame to look for other opportunities. Going to be a kind of a challenging one in crude oil this morning. It's going to be an interesting day. All right. Hello, Emma. Good to see you. All right. So here's the S&Ps. we just always just seem to go from bottom left corner to top right corner in this. Seeing a little bit of a pullback up here. Just thinking about what happened yesterday, we did put in a new all-time high in the regular trading hour session. That's kind of a ominous sign, I think, if because we keep putting in overnight highs in the overnight session, and we keep taking them out in the regular trading hour session. Well, we put in an all-time high in regular trading hours yesterday, unable to really hold much above 4,200, that weekly kickoff high. Pretty feeble attempt to do so. We did bring in higher volume. We did add 14,000 in open interest, but no momentum and very little participation up above that level. So that's why I'm calling that kind of a feeble attempt to accept above an important inflection level. The lack of acceptance up there, I think, has a lot to do with maybe some profit taking already coming into the E-mini S&Ps. Right now, we're on an inside extended trading hour range, which sometimes tells me I may find better trade location as the day goes on. Looking into the 30-minute chart, here is our all-time high in the regular trading hour session. We popped up there, left the opening range at the low, drove lower, brought in some buyers, came all the way back up to close above that important inflection level. But was that enough? Was that enough? I mean, we did have some volume up here, but we didn't spend all that much time there yesterday. Settlement, I'm going to tell you, is 42.0350. Put that on your charts. Again, just like crude oil, but a little bit different, of course, we've got a lot of overnight shorts in this market. Are these overnight shorts or are these profit takers? Not thinking that this move to the downside yet is longer time frame speculators or hedgers adjusting inventory. This to me is looking more like short time frame pea shooters like me, just accumulating shorts all night long. So the 30-minute chart, well, I'm going to talk about this here on the daily. We had some very narrow ranges Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We were waiting for information. Yesterday, we had a bigger day. We were kind of expecting a bigger day yesterday, but yesterday's range encompasses the entire week's range. If we're going to see profit taking and a bigger move today, it's going to happen outside of this week's range. So I'm looking at 41.68 as the low for the week, right there. We've got the high for the week, yesterday's all-time high we put in at 42.11. That's really going to be more of my focus today if I'm going to be looking for bigger moves. We're opening in range. We may open outside of value. So much depends on what the longer time frame, what the U.S.-based traders are going to be doing. If they're going to start to take the, if they're going to start taking profits, you may see an acceleration below the week's low here. So this is a kind of a vital area. If we can't take that out, if we get down there and can't accept, that may be enough to take all of our short time frame shorts from overnight to have to push us back higher. So again, there's lots to think about here. We've been waiting for a profit-taking event for a couple of weeks now. It's the end of the month. It's a Friday. Things might be lining up for that. We don't know, but if we can accept below the low from yesterday, I'm going to be really looking for an increase in participation and acceptance of those lower prices before I'm going to start to think, okay, we may start to see this thing dip a little bit further. In yesterday's range all week long, we've had very narrow, big range. No major change. My thought, I'm going out on a limb here, is acceptance outside of yesterday's range. I'm thinking we have to go with it. That's upon acceptance. Acceptance is very subjective. It's going to be an interesting, fascinating, challenging, and hopefully profitable trading day. Let's take a quick look into the NASDAQ now. So the same but different. I mean, the notes are almost the same. Volume and open interest was good yesterday. Okay, we put in an all-time high, but in the extended trading hour session, just before the open yesterday, we put in this all-time high. Another feeble attempt to accept higher. We actually closed below the weekly kickoff 14,000 level. And again, the entire weekly range occurred in the extended trading hours from yesterday. That's 14,064, that all-time high in the overnight session, 13,000. That's 14,064 for the upside, 13,818.50 to the downside. The entire range happened yesterday in the NASDAQ as well. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Settlement up here, 13,953.50. Overnight high, not too far off of that. Lots of overnight shorts, testing the low from the week. Again, the patience is going to be probably necessary. If we stay range bound, we're going to be reasonable with our profit targets, and acceptance below yesterday's low is key for continuation to the downside. What to do, what to do. Gold. Nothing. Also yesterday, we put in the week's high and low. Big range, didn't really go anywhere. We're still centrally located between weekly kickoff high and weekly kickoff low. Makes me believe that short time frame traders are still in control. Open interest has been basically flat all week long. Starting to build up a little volume here, but where did we go? We didn't go anywhere. Open interest, continues to dry up. Take a look at the 30. Inside yesterday's range, of course, we have no overnight inventory, basically trading settlement, inside value. Stay patient today. Best trade location likely to come as the day goes on. Not in any big hurry to get into anything in gold. It's almost like it's off the radar for me today. Unless there's a major change, I'm going to be really chill when it comes to trading gold this morning. The euro now is a little bit of a different story. We had an interesting thing occur yesterday, and the outcome of it was not necessarily all that positive. Okay. Yesterday morning, we noticed that we were opening in a late spike that occurred on Wednesday. Opening in the late spike generally means acceptance of higher price, and when we get to the base of the late spike, that can be an opportunity for us to look for longs. It gives us the chance to limit our risk, and we got that opportunity. 8:30, 9 o'clock bar, they both traded down to that level, and the base of the spike held. But we didn't get a real good drive to the upside. It was more of a low volume wander. And then we closed pretty much near the high of the session. But we couldn't take out the high of the late spike. We could barely take out we never did take out the overnight high. So when we're looking at markets, we got to be thinking, what direction is the market attempting to go? And how good of a job is it doing getting there? Upside structure remains. We did put an overlapping to higher range yesterday, a little bit lower volume. It's a little bit of a volume divergence. Higher pricing on lower volume may indicate that, hey, this auction process isn't doing that well. It may need to pull back before being able to rally again. So I'm looking at this opportunity. This 120. 120.90, this kind of gray line right here, is an old weekly kickoff level that I left on there for a reason. We got above it. We've been trying to accept below it. We had a bull flag that paid us yesterday. We're back to that level again. We're near this trend line. I'm looking for this market to hold these levels and then continue its move to the upside. If it can't hold these levels, then we may break structure, and then we may head lower. Now, remember, this is the daily chart. This is long time frame. And Again, settlement is all the way up here, 121.35 and a half ticks. Almost all of our activity has been pushing price lower. Short time frame traders from last night are holding short positions. We've got a little consolidation here. They're waiting to see what the U.S.-based traders are doing. We're seeing our moving averages here, the Hull 9 and 13 session Hull moving averages now heading up. The 9 has crossed above the 13. We've put in a kind of a double bottom here, not necessarily a very strong bottom, but that was in the overnight session. Are we going to start to scare all these shorts? Are we going to come up and see if we can close the gap? If we do go that direction and can't close the gap, that might be interesting information for a continuation lower. If we close the gap, we'll look for opportunities to see the market come back up towards settlement. All right. The 10-year what are we doing here? We're sideways. We're not really doing much of anything. It's kind of not on the radar for me. I don't often trade it anyway. But volume and open interest were good, but just really non-directional. The volume held up okay yesterday. We added 77,000 in open interest, but what direction did those traders come in at? It's very difficult to see, so we're going to chill. We've got an inside day, then extended trading hours, very narrow day this morning, very narrow overnight. Take a look at the 30. It's quite the rejection off the low from yesterday. Kind of followed S&Ps. Quite the rejection. Settlements all the way up here. Again, 131 and 31 and a half, 30 seconds. We've just now taken out our little quintuple top here. We've now extended the overnight and extended trading hours higher. Let's see what time this is. Yeah, that's yesterday after the close, but before the reopen. So kind of looking at this rejection off the lows here, maybe another move to the upside. I mean, there's plenty of things to look at, plenty of things to look for as far as targets are concerned. We've got a naked point of control right here, all the way up here. That would be quite a stretch, I think, for us this morning, but not all that impressed in the opportunities I'm seeing. I was waiting for this to see if this market could take out this quintuple top here that may bring some buyers into this market, especially with yields kind of holding steady, just kind of hanging around lately. So we're going to be hanging around today too. Looking forward to probably an early start to the weekend. Hopefully you're going to be able to do that as well. Make a little bit of money, add to that stack you've accumulated this week, and get down to the weekend. I know I'm looking for it, and I hope you are too. Make sure this weekend that you are good to yourself and good to others. I'm going to take my deep breath. Hopefully you'll join me. Always feels good. Humble, grateful, and creative, and tolerant today in your trading. Make sure you get some good rest this week. It's going to be another fun and interesting week next week. Lots more earnings due out, and we're looking forward to it. But make sure you look away, take some time, do something fun, hang with the ones you love, and be ready for next week. I'm going to go. That's going to be it for me for the week. No recap today on Fridays. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Hey, maybe I'll see you at the lake this weekend. Trade well, everybody. Get out there and profit. We'll see you next week.